Alright, Dave here with another exciting tutorial, and today I want to talk about glass in Blender. Okay, I'm just going to get straight to the point and show you this. But one thing I want to do before I kind of show how to do glass, I want to talk about an important phenomenon that happens with the glass. Here you can see that I have two identical objects. Okay, I'm going to call these cups, and I can see when I render it, they're both transparent, but I feel like this one feels like glass and this one doesn't. This feels like just a transparent object. And I feel like the reason that this feels like glass is because it's refracting the background. In other words, you can see how it's kind of bending. If you ever put like a straw in a glass, it's going to bend. That's refraction. You can see that this one's not refracting anything. Okay, so the environment is going to be important to understand what's happening, this phenomena with glass. Okay, and then I'm going to talk about some things in the render settings to make sure that glass works to see things through transparent objects and everything like that. So let's go ahead and just dive right in here. So I'm just going to go File, New, and start with a blank scene. I'm just going to delete the default cube, Shift A, and I'm going to create a cylinder. Okay. Now I'm going to press S to scale this up. This is going to be our cup. I'm not going to waste too much time modeling this because it's not a modeling tutorial. But to do this, I'm going to hit Tab to enter edit mode. I'm going to grab the top of it, and I'm going to do an inset face extrusion like that. And then I'm going to press E to extrude, and then I'm going to bring that straight down like that. I want to make sure that I don't go past the outside, so I might put this into transparent, and if I press E I can pull that down. There we go, like that. Now the other thing I'm going to do is I'm going to do an inset extrude again right there. I want a nice thin line there, that way when I soften it, it's going to kind of hold that edge. And I'm going to also do Control R, and I'm going to pull that down so it's a really tight edge there. I'm going to do Control R and pull that way up here almost to the top. Okay, there we go. And again, down here, I'm going to select this face, and I'm going to do inset just a little bit like that, and Control R. There we go. And up here, Control R. Okay, excellent. Now, what I can do is if I take this, I can go to my modifier, and I can come over here, and I can go to subdivision surface, and I can divide that up a couple times, okay, like that. And now I'm just going to apply this. So I have to be in object mode, then I can come over here and hit apply. Excellent. I can also make sure that this is extra smooth by right clicking and go to shade smooth. Excellent. Now I've got a cup that I can work with, okay, but I feel like I also want to have a ground plane. And the reason that I have a ground plane is I need to test its refraction properties, because I feel like if it's just in an empty plane, if there's nothing to kind of test that, I don't know if the glass is really working. So to do that, Shift A, I'm going to create a plane, and I'm going to press S and just make that bigger. Okay, S, there we go. Excellent. Now I've got this background that I can see here. I'm going to, on this plane, I'm going to give it some checkers. Over here, I'm going to go to my materials, and I'm going to click on New, and this pops up. I'm going to just call this Floor. Material. And on the floor material for base color, I'm going to go to this yellow dot. I'm going to click on that, and I'm going to say Checker Texture. Okay. I don't see the checkers because I need to be in Viewport Shading, Material Preview mode. Now I see it. I can see here that after I click on Checker Texture, an arrow appears, and it opens this up. I'm going to change the scale to something like 20. Now I have enough checkers to really test a couple things, that if I can see through this and if the checkers are refracting and making it look like they're bent. Okay. Now, great. I'm set up. Now let's go ahead and add the glass material, the exciting part that everybody's been waiting for. So I'm going to go ahead and select this glass right here, or I'm going to call this the cup to not confuse it with the material. And once I have the cup selected, I'm going to go over here and click on New. Okay, I'm going to call this glass material. And Now I'm going to change this from principal BSDF, and I'm going to go up here to glass, and you can see they already have it for us. Okay, excellent. Now it looks like this. If I switch over here, I want to be in the rendered mode. Okay, and when I'm in the rendered mode, it might look like this. A couple things that are really important to point out is that the way that I'm showing to do this is going to involve a certain render engine, and I'm going to need cycles instead of EV. But before I get into that, if I open up my preview, I can see that here's a preview of what the material is going to look like, and sure enough, it does look like that. But if I switch over, if I go to my render settings right here and switch this to cycles, magic starts to happen. Okay, you can see it looks significantly different. And if I come back here to the material, if I look at my preview, that does look different. Okay, that does kind of look more like glass. Okay, but not really. It looks like kind of like frosted glass. And the trick here, I'm going to change my roughness. I'm going to bring roughness down almost to 0. Now I can see that I have glass, and I can see right here the preview is looking good, and this is actually looking great here. By the way, if I go back here, if I switch this to EV, it's not going to work. Okay, I need to be in cycles as my render engine to make that work. Now I feel like I can see that the background, the checkers are refracting. Okay, now if I didn't have the background, so if I just turn that off, it's hard to tell if it's working or not. Okay, that's why I feel like I need that background to verify that yes, it is working. Okay, now a couple things that I want to point out is the refractive index of this. Okay, what the heck is that? Well, I'm going to go back to the material attributes, and this IOR, index of refraction, is by default set to 1.45. If I put that to 1, you can see that it's just clear. There is no index of refraction. In other words, it's not bending any of the light kind of behind it, if you will. So if I bump that up to 1.5, now you can see how much more it looks like glass because it's refracting the items that we see through it. And if I bump that up higher, let's say 2.3, it's going to refract it even more. Okay, so you might say, well, I'm just going to kind of throw out a number there. But there's actually, you can go online and you can look up index of refraction, like values. Okay, I just went to Wikipedia here and I've searched refractive index. And you can kind of see this is what's happening is that as the ray of light comes in, it hits something and then it refracts and bends at a different angle. You can see there's complex math associated with it. But if we look here, I can see that in a vacuum, the index of refraction is going to be 1. If I look at something like glass, glass is going to be around 1.5. Okay, and diamond you can see is 2.4. Water is 1.33. I feel like you don't have to memorize all this. I feel like what I do is just kind of memorize water's 1.33, glass is roughly 1.5, and call it a day. But if you wanted to look up specific elements, you could look it up here, and it's going to mathematically be physically accurate in the computer. The computer understands how to calculate that. Okay, so it's not. So that's what this IOR is index of refraction. Okay, and again, that's why it's looking like glass here. And one thing that I should point out that's important to understand is that let's see what happens when we have multiple objects. Okay, so for example, if I go Control-C, Control-V, and then put it behind it, I can see that I'm seeing that glass through this glass. Okay, and that's happening, and I want to show why we're able to see that. And you might think, well, of course, Dave, we're going to be able to see that. That's what happens in reality. But if I go into the render settings, okay, I'm sorry, the render properties right here. Remember, I'm in cycles. Then if I come down here to light paths, okay, light paths, I can see it's a total of 12 right now. Let's see what happens if I put that to 0, okay. you can see that our glass looks significantly different. Even though the material is not changed at all, it's how it's being affected changes. If I put the light paths up to 1, I can see that, well, that's kind of weird. Start to see a reflection. If I put it to 2, I'm going to get a little bit more. 3, 4, okay. Well, what the heck is going on here? Well, I feel like I'm going to put that back to 0. And let me just kind of talk about this real quickly here. If I go like this, I want you to think about a light path, or max bounce is this. Think about a ray of light coming from the camera, hitting the object, and then coming back and returning a result. Okay? So when we have that, you can see where it's 0, it's not even, it's just doing that. It's just hitting the object, then coming back and returning a result to our eyeball. Okay, this is like from the camera, and this is to our eyeball. And what happens is that if I put it to 1, you can see that it allows it to now pick up that, it kind of allows one bounce. So you can see it's kind of coming here, and then bouncing to this object, and now it's going back and turning a result. Okay, so before it didn't even allow for that one bounce. Okay, now I feel like if I do 2, what's happening is that I'm going to just erase these real quick. Okay, what 2 is doing, so if I put it to 2, is it's allowing it to go through here, and then realize there's thickness of the glass. Okay, so when it gets here, it refracts at whatever angle we tell it to, and then it comes back and returns a result. Okay, so it's hitting and then going once and then coming back, returning a result. And this idea that it has to do this is going to continue. So if I go up to more, okay, so if I go to 4, let's think about this. Okay, it's going to hit, and then it's going to travel through once. Then it's going to allow it to continue to travel. 3, 4, and then come back and return a result. That's why the glass looks completely clear, is because the ray was allowed to travel far enough to come back and return a result. Okay? Now, what the heck is this? So now if I turn this, you can see that this glass, when I look through this glass to that glass, you can see that there's not enough rays available. Because again, the ray has to hit here, then it has to travel here, then it goes through this side, then it goes to that side, and then the rays are used up, so it can't continually continue that process. Okay, so again, I'm going to just erase this. So if I increase this, eventually I would have enough rays that I could get all the way through the object. Okay, cool. Now you can see I have enough rays that I can see through the object. Okay, now again, if I select this object, Control-C, Control-V, push this like this, and now if I look like this, eventually it's going to stop because I don't have enough rays. And I think by default, Blender puts this to 12, and you can see that that should be enough. Now, if you're looking at it just like this, you're never going to have really a problem. You'd probably only need a max of 4. When the rays matter is when glass is looking through glass. Okay? Same thing happens if we're doing a reflective surface. Okay? If we're doing a reflective surface, it's only going to reflect one time, but then the reflection of the reflection isn't going to happen. So you got to kind of tell it how many reflections do you want to have happen. So again, we need to understand that, because if we didn't understand this and our glass was looking weird, it may not be the material's fault. It may be the render limit's fault. Now I might be saying, well, hey, why don't we just put this up to 1,000,000 or 1,000 so we never have to worry about it? Well, I feel like what's going to happen is that eventually the computer is going to slow down, and that's not very optimized. So we want to make sure that we're optimizing our scene, only whatever we need it for. But I feel like, again, glass is going to be a combination of material, setting that up correctly. It's going to be also the environment, because without a proper environment of something that we can kind of tell what's going on, it's going to be hard to tell if it's working. And it's going to make sure that we have the proper render settings. Okay, all of that kind of has to play together. So again, hopefully this was helpful. If you have any questions, leave it in the comments below, and make sure to like and subscribe. All right, thank you.